a few updates on my channel. A lot of stuff's been going on in my personal life, so I haven't really been able to jump on stream and just talk about the World Cup, about Chelsea. A lot of stuff has been popping off with the club and with the World Cup. You know, I have been watching the World Cup. I just haven't really been able to give my reactions or my thoughts about it. But the game that just ended, Germany versus the Ivory Coast, what a heartbreaking way to lose a game if you're the Ivory Coast. Pretty much taking the game to Germany, pretty much playing your hearts out. They beat Ecuador in their first group game 1-0, almost on the same fashion that they lost this game. Dying seconds, last minute, Ivory Coast. One man in their back line doesn't step up. Undav, he's there, sees the space, quick turn, fires it on goal. Germany win 2-1. You know, the Netherlands beating Sweden 5-1. The last time they played a European team in the World Cup, they absolutely destroyed Spain 5-1. So maybe the Netherlands should just be looking to play European teams if they want to actually win their first World Cup. The United States winning yesterday 2-0. Haven't really given my full reaction on it yet, but they look good. The United States look actually pretty decent right now, and I'm happy about it, right? As an American, we don't get much credit for at least most Americans don't get credit for knowing the sport, the ball knowledge, whatever. Americans only want to show up every 4 years or once every 4 years because their nation is in the World Cup. But the way they're playing, the way that Pochettino has them playing, you don't even need to play Christian Pulisic, bro, in the next game because Turkey. Let's talk about Turkey, bro. Let's talk about Turkey, bro. How do you have 60 to 65 shots in what's going on, bro? In a World Cup, in two World Cup games, and you don't get any of these shots to go in? How is this possible, right? Arda is putting ball crosses on a dime, and you have their center forwards, their midfield players, Keenan Yildiz, a guy I spoke on last week, a player that's linked with Chelsea. I wouldn't go anywhere near him. I I appreciate that. Thank you. Um, Keenan Yildiz for me is not worth 100 million. And for anybody that thinks he's worth 100 million, bro, I don't know about that. Like if I'm Chelsea and I'm looking for a left winger, I'm not paying 100 million, bro. Not for that. I mean, yes, he was isolated on one side. Yes, he was double teamed a lot. Yes, but if you're if you have the potential to be 100 million player, you need to be doing a little bit more. Be more direct and incisive with what you're trying to do on the pitch. Arda Güler is 21 years old. He should not be the guy that is trying to get this team to pick its heads up and actually try to be clinical in front of goal, bro. Like it just can't happen, right? He's putting balls on a dime, and he almost yesterday saved his country from absolute embarrassment. Turkey haven't been in the World Cup since 2002, where they finished third. But at the same time, this is probably why they've missed out on so many World Cups. They're not clinical in front of goal at all. Paraguay, immediately as the game started, had one counterattack, had one passage of play, and were clinical. Genius idea to shoot from outside the box, and Miguel Almiron, for whatever reason, wants to cover his mouth. My whole thing is if the players are made aware that you're not supposed to be covering your mouth. Paraguay played exceptional yesterday, even down to 10 men. They wanted it more, stout defensively, and they kept on breaking up the passages of play that Turkey was really trying to put out there, man. I mean, if you're down to 10 men and the way that they needed to get back, and it's why they qualified for the World Cup, stout defensiveness and just throwing your body into every single challenge. And that's what they did. They wasted time, and a few of those times, it went out for corner kicks. For the life of me, Turkey, I don't understand why you kept on lumping balls in the box when you had the opportunities to play it short and change the angle of the cross to actually make their back line do something different. But again, now they're basically out of the World Cup. It's between Australia and Paraguay to see who's going to come out second in that group. In my opinion, I think it might be Paraguay, bro. Australia plays them next, and that's going to be a contrast of styles, a contrast of how the game is played. Australia wants to play on the counterattack, but Paraguay want to sit back and allow teams to come onto them to hit you on the counter. So it'll be very interesting to see who has more possession in that game and who can be clinical. And it was kind of a surprise yesterday. What's going on, Amir? It was kind of a surprise yesterday not to see their goal scorer, Iran Kunda, I think is his name, not even get into the starting lineup, which was weird because he caused Turkey so many issues on the transition. So it'll be interesting to see if he starts in the next game and if the Australian coach understands that you need two strikers up there that can actually put pressure on their back line. The problem with Turkey yesterday is that the striker they had yesterday, I am talking about soccer, I'm talking about the World Cup. The striker they had out there yesterday wasn't getting any service, and he made runs in behind, but Guler wasn't able to find them. Çalhanoğlu wasn't able to find these runs that were being made in behind, right? And Turkey has 60 shots in their first two games, and they didn't put the ball in the back of the net. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing, and they should be facing the repercussions from their country that they were expected to win this group. They were favorites to win this group, and they absolutely dropped the ball with it. But getting out of that group, getting out of Group D, the other games that we're seeing in this World Cup. Are you from Sweden? And I'm sad that Sweden lost today. Yeah, man. I mean, the first 20 minutes of that game, bro, you guys were just trying to play long balls over the top to Gyökeres. He's right, chat. That's why his hat is yellow. Yeah. I'm a hat collector. But you guys were trying to lump the ball over the top too much, bro. And you have Gyökeres who can get in behind, but you guys should have been feeding the ball in the Isak a lot more and allowing him to actually distribute the ball to Gyökeres. Now, Gyökeres had a few chances in the first half where if he takes that shot a bit quicker, we're probably having a different conversation about how that game goes, but you can't afford to start off that bad against a team like Holland, where Brian Brobby, as a Chelsea fan, he caused us so many issues, bro. And he's physical, he's dynamic, he's good at hold up, and he's a good finisher. So the Netherlands should win that group. We'll see what Japan does later on. But it should be interesting to see how far the Dutch go in this World Cup. A lot of people have them as dark horses to win this tournament. I can see why they're saying that now. Isn't it crazy that when the game is over, it's easier to see what went wrong? Yeah, it's a lot easier. I mean, it is a lot easier like to see that because as you're watching like the game, right? You can pick out what's going wrong and I feel like a lot of the commentators do the same thing. But with what I do usually is I analyze the game while I'm watching it, and then I'll pick stuff out while it's going on, and then the commentators will say it like directly after, right? So I'm not a prophet. I just understand the game very, very well. Sweden have good players in the team. Sweden has a great attacking line, but when you're not clinical in front of goal, I'm from Morocco too, and they won 2 days ago. Yeah, Morocco won yesterday against Scotland 1-0. You guys drew against Brazil, who beat Haiti yesterday 3-0. I mean, I don't know who's going to win that group, bro. I want to say Brazil win it because they play Scotland next, but Morocco play Haiti, right? So I think it's going to be a matter of if Brazil don't concede against Scotland, but then Morocco either draws or they just concede too many goals, against Haiti, which I don't think they will. I think Morocco should easily beat Haiti, bro. If I'm giving you a score prediction, I think they beat them like 3 or 4-0, bro. Honestly, Morocco are a very scary team to play against. They don't concede, and if they get that one goal, they're very hard to break down, right? So I do think that Morocco could win that group, but it's just a matter of, does Brazil concede against Scotland? That's how I see it. Um, let's see what else is going on. And Mexico beat South Korea. They've already advanced like the United States. It's a very interesting tournament so far. I mean, we still need to see France play again. We still need to see Argentina play again. We still need to see England play again, and Portugal and Spain. My word, bro. I mean, what's going on with Spain? The Cape Verde goalkeeper jumped from 46,000 followers to like 14 million followers on fucking Instagram, bro. Like, it's insane. Like, he made save after save after save after save to keep Cape Verde in the game, bro. Like, I picked Spain to win the World Cup, but their attack just looks dreadful, bro. And for Portugal, right? I think it's time to have the conversation if Cristiano Ronaldo should even be starting in these games, right? We need to have that conversation. We understand who Cristiano Ronaldo was or is. 228 caps for his country, the all-time leading international goal scorer, will probably reach 1,000 goals in his career. But in this version of the Portuguese team, he's holding them back big time, big time. And when you have players like João Neves, Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, you have Pedro Neto out there, you have Leao, you have a pretty decent back line, you have a good goalkeeper. Who do I think is going to win the World Cup? I originally said Spain, but as of right now, I think Argentina might do it again. Honestly, I think Argentina might do it again. But I want to see them play again. I want to see France play again. I want to see England play again. And I don't want to sound like I'm being biased, but I want to see how far the United States can actually go, right? If the United States can keep playing the way they're playing and don't, like yesterday, right? They played Australia, right? But for the second half of that second half, Australia were putting a lot of pressure on them, right? What's going to happen once you start playing France, once you start playing Portugal, once you start playing Argentina, right? What are you going to do then when they have better attacking power, especially with France, right? This is probably the best French team I've seen in a very long time, and they've made 2 straight World Cup finals. I was talking to my coworker not that long ago about how this French team is better than the 2 French teams that got to the 2 previous World Cup finals. But my issue with them is, honestly, are they going to be consistent enough? Are they going to drop off enough? Are they going to be too arrogant once they get onto the pitch? Because their first group game, now they won 3-1, but all those goals came in the second half, right? They need to play a complete night. If they play a complete 90 minutes, France are going to be very hard to beat. Um, But it's like you said, as of right now, I think Argentina might go back to back. But are they going to rely on Messi to bail them out every single game? Messi is probably the greatest player ever, but the rest of the Argentinian national team, bro, they might need to actually help them out. Honestly, France, like I said, they need to play a consistent 90 minutes. When you have Dembele, Doué, Mbappe, Olise, right? When you have an attacking line like that, you should be able to get through any back line in the world, bro. My favorite player is Batman. Know who's Batman? Neymar. See, I feel the same way about Neymar as I feel about Cristiano Ronaldo. Neymar is one of my favorite players of all time, right? But is he really needed on this Brazilian team? Now, a lot of people are going to say you're hating. I'm not hating on him. All I'm saying is that this was a nostalgia pick because clearly this is going to be his last ride with Brazil, and you want to include him in the squad. But, well, their first game was so bad. Their second game, you're playing Haiti. So I'm not going to think too much of it. Let's see what they do against Scotland. Let's see what they do once they get to the round of 32, the round of 16, because I think Brazil have a chance. They have the manager now, right? But it's just a matter of Vinny Jr. is looking electric under Carlo Ancelotti, and he did when he was at Real Madrid as well. Brazil haven't had a real test yet. Morocco was their first test, but the knockout stages, you can't afford to be making the same mistakes, bro. And this is why I say going back to the United States. It's great. They won 2 of 2. They're into the next round. Their knockout game is gonna be out here in the Bay. So it should be good. It should be great. But let's see what they do against stiffer competition, and let's see what they can do when they don't have a lot of possession of the ball. That's the one thing that I really want to see. The first 2 games, the US have had a lot of possession. They're able to break teams down against the low blocks, but I want to see what they do with teams with higher possession and that are more clinical when they have their chances. If we play Norway, you got to worry about Holland. If we play against Ecuador, right? Ecuador, I think Ecuador honestly and they play in about 90 minutes. I love me some Moises Caicedo. I'm a Chelsea fan, right? Ecuador have a good team. They were unfortunate not to beat the Ivory Coast last week. Ecuador can be a scary opponent for the United States, bro. I really think that. Who won VM? What does that mean? Like, I think Ecuador can be a pretty scary opponent, bro. No, like Norway, I'm not necessarily too worried about it. If you can contain Erling Haaland, I don't think they're much of a threat. Um, but again, the World Cup, man. I mean, this version of the World Cup is nice. I'm just not a fan of the hydration breaks, and I'm not really a fan of the w- what's it called? A lot of the stuff I'm seeing on these halftime shows too, bro. Like Alexi Lalas, bro. I'm gonna say this. Like he needs like permanently, bro. He needs to get off of the air when it comes to his opinions. Like he just sounds ridiculous, man. Like I want to be on these halftime shows. Allow me to go on there and really tell you how it is from the American perspective. I don't care if you played with the US, bro. Your opinion is biased as hell. Give some people an opportunity that actually watch these games from an unbiased perspective because I'll shred the United States if they're playing terrible. Like I just did. They almost allowed Australia to get back into the game. They cannot get caught on transition because I don't think their back line is as solid as it's being perceived right now. If the United States plays against a better team and they hit you on the counterattack, they're going to get scored on. Tim Ream is 38 years old. Chris Richards is still dealing with an injury, right? And you can't keep relying on own goals, right? Because teams like France, teams like Portugal, teams like Spain, like Argentina and stuff are not going to concede own goals like that. You're going to have to find a way to break them down. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that they do well. I'm hoping that they go far. I still think the round of 16 is where they exit, but if the bracket favors them, you never really know how far this US team can actually go. I'm not going to say they'll win it, but in the world that they do win it, oh, it it would be insane. I would cry. Who do you think will come? Who do you think will come in the World Cup finals? Right now, um, I'd probably say Argentina, and as of right now, because they've played through 2 games already, Argentina versus Holland as of right now, which would be an exceptional final because we remember the quarterfinal back in 2022, how insane that final would actually be. So as of right now, the Netherlands versus Argentina in the World Cup finals. My original pick was Spain versus Brazil, but Spain looked absolutely dreadful in attack, and Brazil, I'm not convinced. I'm just not convinced by them yet. But that's where I'm leaning, honestly. As for Mexico, now they're an interesting one because they almost blew the lead a few days ago. I like how they're playing. Their fans are obviously gonna get on them if they're having a terrible performance. I think they finally get to the quarterfinals this time around. But I think they're gonna play somebody else that is gonna actually teach them a lesson on how to close out games. And I think Mexico at that point will go out in the quarterfinals. There's people picking them to get to the last four, even to the final, which I find to be crazy, honestly. But I think the United States have a better chance of getting to a semifinal than Mexico, honestly. I really do. And it's not me hating on Mexico or anything like that. A lot of my friends are Mexican, bro. And I've already told them this that the United States have a better chance of getting to a semifinal over Mexico. I think because of who the manager is, rather than the team makeup. I think Pochettino has these guys believing and has them playing in a way that they haven't played ever. Who's my favorite team? I'm a Chelsea fan. Big Chelsea fan, bro. Chelsea fan for over 25 years. Out here on the west coast of the United States. But I appreciate all your comments, bro. I really do. But as for your country, Sweden, bro, you guys still have to play one more game. Japan won't be easy. They gave Holland a really tough game. I think Japan do win tonight, and you guys will be third in the group. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I mean, people come in and out all the time. So, I mean, I appreciate people that actually stay and have a conversation. But I think Sweden, I think Japan do win tonight, and then they'll be tied with Holland at the top of the group. You guys are on 3 points. I think it's going to go down to the last game on who wins the group, honestly. I really do. But give me 1 second, real quick. Need to clock back into work. Need to clock back into work real quick once it hits 3:39. Cause I'm at work right now. I'm on lunch. So I was doing these streams at lunch, but I just wanted to take time to myself at times and actually just like take a breather from the work I do here. But starting probably Monday or Tuesday, I'll be back on my regular setup when it comes to streams. Give me 1 second. On my phone doing streams. I did on Monday and today, but starting on Monday or Tuesday, I should be back on my regular setup, doing my streams and all that. I got a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to the World Cup and when it comes to Chelsea. There's been a lot of news that has been dropping about the front of shirt sponsor, players that were linked with Enzo Fernandez. At this point, is all but set to go to Real Madrid. Yeah, I vape. I recently stopped smoking weed about 2 months ago, and it's been a journey. But you know, I'll get back to that at some point once I have, because I'm expecting a kid at the end of the year. So I just need to be make sure that I'm mentally present and just make sure that I'm right for when my kid arrives. And then at some point after that, I probably will go back, but it's not anytime soon. Oh, okay. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to work. I have to get back upstairs, get ready for this service upstairs. But I do appreciate everybody jumping in here. Amir, I appreciate it, bro. Um, you know, I'll be back on the regular stream soon. And yeah, um, if you guys haven't, drop a like, sub. I see the likes on there now. Comment on the stream that should go live or should upload later on. But yeah, I'm Jason, no filter Chels. Drop a like, comment, sub, do all that cool stuff. Up the Chels, United States of America. We are out here. We are gonna do big things in this World Cup, bro. I really hope that we can do something decent and make some noise to the rest of the world, bro. Because there's Americans out here, bro. Like I keep saying, that have ball knowledge. A lot of you European viewers, a lot of you South American viewers, bro. There's Americans that understand, bro. I sound like a sheriff. I'm anything but a sheriff, bro. Trust me that. But yeah, I'm Jason, no filter Chels, bro. I'll see y'all probably tomorrow, or I'll probably upload a few shorts. But yeah, I'll see y'all soon. Peace out.